incapable of learning. They repeat the same mistakes, which are these divisive efforts to cancel people out. If I were at CNN, if I was Jeff Zucker, I'd sit everybody down and go, do you want to be part of this new trend of like basically publicly blacklisting people, ruining their lives? Because if no one had put the brakes on this, that kid's life would have been ruined, and anybody who happened to be a Trump supporter would be next. I mean, consider how this would have turned out if there wasn't other video. CNN never would have taken a breath. They moved on from Covington to Smollett, you know, and they even if you go back a few years, their anti-police narrative, they could have learned from that, but they didn't, you know. And so this banishment craze that they're on, and what they could have done to this kid, even if the lawsuit is, you know, without merit or whatever, maybe it will cause them to sit down and think about it. Just think about, do you want to be part of this mob, of this new trend, or you want to actually sit back and think about what you're doing? Because it's going to happen to you.
Diana, you're shaking.
I'm nodding, yes, I'm agreeing. The Washington Post was also sued by the same group before, on behalf of the young man. And the Washington Post published an editorial, an editor's note, I should say, that said, we shouldn't have done that. We should have done more reporting. And so they're trying to at least address this so that when it does go in front of the judge, and they might say there is no standing here. And I don't know, I'm with Greg, I don't know how it will turn out in court. But if they had not filed the lawsuit, nobody would be talking about this.
Exactly.
Lawsuits drive coverage and news, and even if they don't get $250 million from CNN or Washington Post or whatever, putting it out there for all of us to talk about is worthwhile.
And the money amounts are meant to send a message.
Right.
To media organizations, like your journalists shouldn't be belching bile on social media, part of the mob, when they don't even know it's true. In the lawsuit that was filed against the Washington Post, Jesse, it says that one of the reporters there who worked on the story later retweeted that shortened video, which basically told a story that was not true.
Yeah, I'm sure Zucker sent out a few memos telling everybody to check themselves on social media, or else they're going to cost the company a fortune. I've made a few gaffes in my career, and CNN, you know what they do? They point fingers, and they laugh, and they mock, but you know what? At least I'm not responsible for $250 million lawsuit by smearing a minor. You know what? You guys are, not me. Also, CNN's pretty cocky. They're in third place. I think half the country thinks they're fake news, and now they're facing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. So what they've done now, and to Greg's point, which I think is a great one, they now don't necessarily target popular people, famous people, talented politicians. They go after the little guy.
Remember the woman that got the Russian bot or whatever,
Yeah.
and she answered it, and they cornered her?
They go after anonymous people. They unmask random people. Remember the guy that did the funny video on YouTube of the body slam? They put out his personal information. They go after minors. That's who they're really going after, and that's bullying. And they always call out the bullies. They're the bullies.
Are the people over there, Juan, so irretrievably stupid that they don't know to take a breath? If you're going to go after a teenager, a high school junior, not a public figure, but a private figure with something, if you don't know the whole story, you're just going to lambast this kid and try and destroy his life. Don't they have one breath of a revelation that they shouldn't do that?
I just think this is a meritless lawsuit, and I think this kid's being used by the right, and I don't know who this lawyer is, but it sounds to me like there's a gravy train now, Washington Post, CNN. He's become a hero to people who associate this with any media injustice against the far right and against Trump supporters. But the key for me is this.
I'm sorry, if CNN and all these news organizations did this to me and told a story about me and basically rained hellfire down on me and my family and all of my buddies in school, my backside would be pretty chapped too, to the tune of, so far, $500 million.
No, you wouldn't.
It would.
Tell you what, I think if you felt that way, Dagan, you would say, I want this over, and I want people to know that they were wrong.
But then,
So just give me a second. So here's the thing. They didn't create this tape. This tape came from somebody on the internet that the government still doesn't know exactly who they, but they could have been the Russians, whatever. They're tied to Brazil. That's the source of this tape. And then in this social media age, when the tape gets out there, everybody says, have you seen this tape? And then you get people like CNN and the Washington Post reacting to
No, they were spreading it, right? That was my point. That we real quick, final word.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't believe. I don't think they learn. They don't have any external. The only external breaks you're going to have are from people like Nick Sandmann. That's the only way. To the point. If you don't do this lawsuit, people stop talking about it and they move on to the next outrage.